Hi guys, I'm back with another video, and today I kind of wanted to talk about the issues that I think Star Stable needs to address, or the issues that I think is causing the game to kind of go through a flop era. So the YouTube channel Rattle posted a video 10 days ago about Star Stable and their finances, which is a really good video, but it got me thinking about how they could fix the game and how they're kind of going through a flop era because of it. And I also binge watched all of Kitty Spiderweb's videos, which are documentaries on certain topics like the holiday events that aren't happening anymore and the history of Star Stable YouTube, and my favorite video of theirs, which is Dino Valley, and it's like my favorite spot in the game. So those two channels have inspired me to make my own little like mini series. It's kind of gonna be just of like 3 different videos of the different issues that I think are hindering the game and kind of how I would fix it and how I would like address it. So to start off, the most obvious thing that they need to address is fixing bugs that stop players from completing quests or an activity in the game. Not like the funny bugs where people are standing on their horses or dancing on their horse, or the one where you get like the long reins, although that one can be like kind of annoying. But it doesn't stop you from being, you don't have to like log out and log back in. It usually just like your game takes a little bit to load before it like fixes itself. So since they added the new campsite at Moorland, some Soul Rider missions have become unplayable. Like the things that you have to collect in the mission are like floating above the water, because that used to be where half of the land was, and you have to either log out of the game or wait for the timer to stop, but then you miss the reward and you have to like wait another day to be able to complete it. And another one is certain locations glitching. One I recently have experienced is in Valedale when I'm collecting fireflies and my screen will go red. I think it's like red or black, and it's just like when my camera turns a certain way, it'll happen. I'll put it up so everyone else can see. So, and there's also minor bugs like hairstyles glitching, and that's like the current hairstyle I have on my character right now. And another one would be improving customer support. I've read a lot of horror stories, and I'm pretty sure it's another Rattle's video on their channel of people trying to contact customer support only for them to never get back to you, or it's an automated response, which I've had a couple of those, and sometimes people get banned. Although I'm not sure if those are recent. I think that might have been like last year, although that's technically recent. My experience with them wasn't too bad. When I needed to get a refund because I bought star coins on the wrong account, it took them almost a week to to put through the refund. And another time where I needed to change my email because Google deleted the one that I was using for my account, and I had to go through, I think it was 3 different people, and it took about a week, and I was stressed out because I thought my account was gone and I spent like money on the game, so I thought I like lost it all. So a better customer support page would help this. And another game I play, which is Horse but with like a W, their support page is like you're not in the email, but it's like you're talking to them through the support page so you can see where like your ticket is at. I don't know if Star Stable has that, but in my experience, it was just through whatever email service like you have. And also making an easier way of identifying someone owns the account. Right now, I think they're just using their birth date of the person, which is kind of unreliable because a lot of people are like younger when they make their account, and then they use like a fake email or a fake birth date, and then they forget which one they used. And actually reading what the player is asking for instead of reading the first sentence, which happened to me a lot in my experience with them, where I would ask a question in the first sentence and I would continue writing, but their response back to me was just answering that first question, and improving it so problems are resolved faster. The next thing would be adding realism back to the game, which I kind of got inspired by Kitty Spiderweb's video about realism. And I would add weather changes like thunderstorms and rain, like fog, not just snow at Christmas, but just like normal weather things that happen in the game, kind of like Minecraft. And weather tolerances would be so fun to have on certain horses, kind of like in Dino Valley with the cold tolerance, but if they added like a different environment, like a desert, they could have a heat tolerant horse. And if players don't want to buy the weather tolerant horse, they could add tack that would make it so the horse they are riding could be tolerant, or make a treat, kind of like how we have the ones that make the horses like mood bar full. It could be made in Hollow Woods by gardening that would have like a 30-minute time limit, so the people could like still have whatever horse that they're riding, but in like the certain zone that they need a weather tolerant horse. And horses needing a break, it's annoying, but it makes sense that after an hour of riding the horse everywhere, it would need a snack or a water break or a nap. And adding day blockers back to certain quests would make sense. The Harvest County Bridge takes 1 day to build now. When they redid the starter quest, I think it was like a week Star Rider code that I used, and I played through the beginning quests, and I was surprised that it took me just 1 day. Where back in 2018, I think it was 2018, 2019, it took about a week to do. And that makes sense that it would take a week to build the bridge and you can only do so much a day, because if our character is actually building the bridge all by ourselves, the worker guy isn't even helping us, he's just telling us what to do, it would take a long time. And adding more reputation horses like the Gen 1 Fjords and the Rune Runner. A month of reputation quests to buy a new horse would be so fun, or a quest line to get to know the breed better, and kind of like how they have the little story beside the horse that you're buying. It could be like a quest line and you get to like learn about them. Another point is festivals being added back to Jorvik, like on the island, would make the world feel alive. When I'm playing the game, or even just like training my horse, it feels so dead. It's nice sometimes to have like a separate map where we get the festival once a year, like the Winter Village, but it leaves so many possibilities for quests and character interactions that we currently don't get to see, like Christmas decorating in different villages. They used to have that where you would like decorate for all the holidays. Even if you keep the Winter Village, we could still like decorate on the island. Something the Rainbow Festival this year has been doing right is it just being in Fort Pinta, and there's not a lot to do because the Cloud Kingdom isn't there anymore. It might be next year, but that's what they're saying. They're like reworking it, and I've seen more people on the island where usually they're just like on the separate map that they make. The next thing that would be a huge change, and maybe not well received by players at first, but I think people would probably get used to it, is bi-weekly updates instead of the weekly updates, and one big update once a month or every 2 months. Bi-weekly updates would give players more content to play through. There probably wouldn't be a lot of bugs that we're experiencing right now with everything, since they would have more time. And another thing about the updates that I've kind of felt since Christmas is letting the big updates have their moment to shine. It feels like we keep moving on from one thing to the next, and there's not like a big break in between, because you know the next thing is on its way. Like the Hollow Woods update, and then we had Christmas, and then we had the Equestrian Festival, then the Camp Western, and now we're immediately into the Rainbow Festival with like no break. I'm pretty sure they moved Camp Western from summer to last month. But even then, there's only 2 months in between festivals. I think like a bigger break between all the festivals would kind of give people time to appreciate the festival that they're given. And I think that's something that made updates special in the past, is that there weren't so many big ones, kind of like with the horses. And they're always releasing a new horse. Like, horses now are amazing, and I would just love to see like that kind of effort from making the horses into like doing the quest. I know we have like a story quest next week, and the next thing would be marketing for the game has got to change. I watched Hunter Moonhearth's video, and it's called "Our Star Stable Ads Bad." I've seen a couple myself, and they're just like I just want to skip them. And there's some ads that I watch that I'll like watch all the way through because it's like a good ad. But Star Stable is like kind of going with like the false advertising of not using actual game content. And the one that I watched in the video was like of the fox and like adopting the fox, and that would make sense if it was like an animal based, I mean it is an animal based game, but it's about horses, not foxes, and it's not free. So I don't see the need for them to use false advertising. Maybe it's because they're desperate, but yeah, so this is just the start of what I think needs to be changed. The next topic is going to be the storyline and lore. Star Stable changing the game is inevitable. It needs to be updated so it can remain modern and exciting. And it sucks when things change, but if it didn't, we wouldn't be feeling as nostalgic about how it used to be. We might have gotten bored and thought the game was outdated, and we would have outgrown it. But I think that they could still do it in a way that like honors how it used to be, and keeping things the same but updating the graphics, like how Fort Pinta got the graphics updated in, I think it was last week's update when they like started the Rainbow Festival, and it still looks the same but it's like polished more. And as for me calling it their flop era in the beginning, everything goes through a bad moment. Star Stable is kind of like the fridges at my job, which is a weird reference, but I always get worried when the fridges, like when I'm doing the temperatures, they get warm, and I always think it's broken. And my manager tells me every time that it's going through a defrost cycle, and after 20 minutes it's fine. So there's like a lot of fear mongering, I feel like, that I've seen a lot of since Rattle's video, and how like the game is gonna go downhill. But Star Stable is kind of like the fridges, where it's just going through its flop era, its defrost cycle, and it'll probably be fine, and it probably won't shut down. Although maybe, but they can I think they still have time to like fix their issues. So yeah, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think they could do to fix it, or if you have any issues or bugs that you have experienced, because yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.